My black is real, my black is true, my black is something they all want to. Oh, it's magic. Oh, yeah, oh, it's magic. Yeah. My black is real, my black is true, my
Diary of a Black Mommy. It's a space where women can come together to feel safe, to listen and be heard when it comes to our journey in motherhood. With Christ-based principles, I aim to uplift and inspire. Enjoy this podcast, and I hope it blesses you as much as it has blessed me. You know, sometimes motherhood, especially those first 3 months, they can be pretty lonely, depending on what how your situation is set up. So I just wanted to use that, not as context, like that's where I'm at right now, but I think in this particular moment, I'm feeling pretty lonely because my phone was jumping earlier. Like yesterday, everything was cool. I was in a good mood. It was sunny. It was nice. I was listening to some Lenny Kravitz, and you know how that goes. It was good. And then today, it seems like everybody that I reached out to, not able to really get the same type of, feedback back. A good surprise. So I'm at my job and working with tapes and cutting mats and things like that. But I'm at my job and I was cleaning the bathrooms and I had walked out and I heard somebody go, eh, eh. And as you know how I guess like moms know the sounds and the voices of their kids. It's so unique and So when I heard that, I said, it sounds like Sonia, but she wouldn't be here because, why would she be here? And I looked again, I said, but those look like her shoes. What? And then I said, that is her. So my mom brought her and Peyton up here because they happened to be at the Premier Outlet here in Charlotte. So they came on down this way, and took a little visit, which was nice. It was nice to see. And it was good. It was good to see her. And I don't know, I'm in a different season now. There's been a shift yet again. And it could be a shift of new beginnings. It could be a shift of uncertainty. It could be a shift of patience, rebuilding, restoring. Could be a lot of things. And I'm really trying to seek some clarity before I dive in and make any, I don't want to call them rash decisions, but just make any decisions that will be life altering. So just defining for myself what friendship means, what it means to be attracted to someone, why that matters, what it means to be a friend, just several things. And I just want to make sure that whatever I decide for myself, I have to be content with it. That was the lasting word that we talked about in Bible study as far as being content. Whether you're happy or sad. One thing that makes me content is being able to talk to you guys, put myself out there. I feel good when I'm able to do my creative stuff and dance. I was talking to a good friend of mine, Devin, and he was talking about how, I can't remember where he got it from, but he was like, you got to touch your dream every day. And I thought that was cool. And I had to check myself and I said, am I even doing that myself? Am I touching my dream every day so that, I get closer and closer to my goals. And I can honestly say that I haven't been doing that. And some of it could be because the type of job that I have is a very creative job, and therefore I get to exercise my mind and my skills in that way each and every day. So when I get home, I am kind of exhausted. But I want to step back into the space to focus on my thing. That's what myself and DJ Cyclops, we talked about. Like when you help other people, sometimes you forget to help yourself and do your thing. So I want to create a schedule. I called it a curriculum back in the day, but create like some kind of schedule that I could follow. Because when you're in school, they give it to you, right? And then when you get out, it's like you're on your own, and it's tough. It's really tough. So, recap, I'm feeling lonely, and I would love to talk to someone of meaning, someone of value, someone that can just pour into me. I think that's what I need. And I had set up I sent the information for my therapy stuff, but she didn't get back to me, and I'm like, what's up? Or do I need to be reaching out to her? Like, I'm not feeling this. So we gotta get that together. What I do to combat my loneliness sometimes, I pray out loud, and I hope that, like, when I pray, God hears me. And typically, because I know He does, and the reason is because He'll send someone to, not like they're answering my prayer, but it's like a response to my prayer, a continuation of the conversation that God typically has through them as the vessel. You know what I mean? So it's always good to be in constant communication. When they say never ceasing, it's always good to do that, because then you're actively like pursuing a relationship with Him, just as you would if you were to call up somebody on the phone or send them a text message or a DM or whatever the case is you actively doing that. And then, not like when all else fails, but I've been trying to, like, okay, did I read my word today? Let me get into that before I do anything else, before I venture off and see what other people have to say. And then you find, you know how you have like a favorite TV show or whatever the culture's doing. Like, I used to faithfully log on to iHeartRadio and listen to The Breakfast Club, and then I got back in it when I was doing my hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatments, because you could turn on, what are they on? Not BET, but it's also on BET, but they're on whatever Diddy's thing is. But you could watch that, right? And then I get it, not necessarily caught up, but at least I knew what was going on, and it made me feel good, especially to be like in the entertainment space, knowing who the latest artist was. But then what I found is the way our phones and social media is set up, I'm going to be able to be in the know anyway. And it's not hard to find whatever information you want to look for. So if I were talking to my daughter and she's in a space where she feels lonely because maybe all of her friends are busy, I would tell her to have a list of things that make her happy. You can have a list of things that make you happy that cost money, and then a list of things that make you happy that don't cost money, things that are free. And I would probably go to the free list first, because those are the things that genuinely, you know what I mean, they'll always be there. So sometimes it could be, you know, plugging back into a show that you like or a movie that you like that makes you feel good. It could be, this is something that I want to do since I've been working on saving my budget. It could be cooking, like grabbing whatever in your pantry and beginning to discover a meal, like making something new or something even old, and it makes you feel good and accomplished. It could be reading a book, a blog post, and you could write one down. You could write a letter to yourself, like in the future. I've done that where I sent myself an email, right? And then I scheduled it to be sent to like one of my other emails. And then it's like, hey, Tiffany, on this day at this time, you wrote this and you were lonely. And I want to tell you, blah, 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 whatever you want to tell them or yourself, right? And then it's so cool to do that. You could probably schedule something like that every month, every 2 months, every quarter, whatever the case is. And it's kind of like, again, like God speaking through you to yourself, which I think is so cool to do. And almost like a time capsule when you look back, right? That's how I feel sometimes when I look at my old journal entries and I think, sorry about the noise, and I think about, wow, I cannot believe this is where I was at. So, yeah, those are some cool things that you could do. The things that cost money, as long as you don't mind being by yourself, you could do solo dates. You can go to a restaurant and get dressed up. You can go on a walk. If you have a dog or an animal, you can take them with you anywhere. You could go on a trip, right? And sometimes the journey is, more than half not the battle, but half the thing. I always tell myself going to a place is way funner sometimes than actually being there. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it can be grueling. Like the time when we drove to Texas, Austin, Texas, South by Southwest this year. About 16 hours. And I think I drove for maybe only about 2 or 3 of them. But that's a lot of riding. So, those are some things that you could do if you are feeling away. Right now, I'm currently watching The Big Bang Theory for, I don't know, the 3rd time. And I always skip around because I never want to watch it like just straight through. And then wherever I leave off, I just continue it to the end because I'll get there quicker. Because I let it watch me while I go to sleep. But I tend to sometimes go back to the beginning and rewatch it. And I'll get to like season 8, then season 10. There's 12 seasons, by the way. And then I'll pull it back and go back to season 5. And I just love the evolution of the characters in their life. And I like it because, you could say it's realistic or not, but I like it because they're not super fabulous. You know what I mean? They're all scientists, they're nerds, except Penny. And she too is able, like, that's their world. And I love how when people can lock in and they have a core group of friends, for me, I feel like that's shifting, especially being a parent. And I'm not sure what this, I don't want to call it a second half of my life is called, but I feel like I'm in a third, like I'm in a third cycle. Like the first cycle was like childhood. Okay, maybe like the fourth cycle. You got childhood, then you got your adolescence, which I guess the U.S. creates because everywhere else you become a man or a woman at a certain age. And then you're in like college. So that's like my third one. Then you're in like a young adulthood. That's like my fourth one. And now I'm getting into like a middle age. And it's different than everyone who's under 35. If you're under 35 and you don't have children, it's a different space to be in. I see on my timeline how a lot of people, they go out. And that's what I was doing. At least every Thursday I was out dancing. And it's just a different space to be in. Home a lot because you're still juggling as far as with your time. Being tired. And so I don't know if that means that my circle has to change. I don't know. I do need to get around more mothers or people that have been there. I don't know if a support group needs to be started or what, but people have reached out to me, and I just need to figure out how to get our schedules to link up, because we need each other. We can't do it by ourselves. And I know we have your nucleus, or like your nuclear or core family, immediate, let's say the mom, the dad, the kids, and then maybe your grandparents every now and then, and aunts and uncles. But outside of that, it's few and far in between. So I'm just trying to figure that out for myself. There's so many things to touch on.
Leader don't stop. Y'all got it. Said it's not a leader like a